Hello buddy, welcome back to another episode of Just How I am playing Final Fantasy XIV. There definitely wasn't a minute recording before this where I fucked up and totally... Anyway, last episode we did some quest stuff. Basically finishing off all of, I would say, the loose quests that appeared. The only things that are still left in Mordona, that isn't like a big quest, are some crafting and gathering related stuff, but we're gonna do that once we get to the crafting and gathering portion of Heavensward. So for the moment we're gonna leave that for what it is. Including also the fishing quest from A Realm Reborn that I decided to leave on the back road until I got the level 60 skills. So all of that stuff will be happening after I am done with the crafting quests, but that is after we are done with all of this, or most of it in any case. Actually no, I think all of this. Anyway, what am I doing? Let us begin, shall we? We are going to begin with following this quest line, which will lead us to new trial battles and also unlocking the extremes. So that's what we will be doing first. Ah, my lady Lynn. During your absence, a stranger came calling. Upon learning that you were away, he left a message to the effect that he wishes to speak with you and will await you at the Rising Stones. If you have a mind to oblige the stranger, please be careful. I cannot well explain why, but it puts me ill at ease to simply be near him. My thanks for coming. This guy's name. Unakala is my name, and I serve a friend you sought out that I might... Wait. And I serve a friend I sought you out that I might alert you to the rising threat of the beings known as Icons. You are aware of the threat, you say? Ah, but I speak not of the primals, with which you are exceedingly well acquainted. It may interest you to know that the term Icon, and the beings to which it refers, precede the Guardian Empire by Eris. You see, it is the name by which the Allegans called godlike beings, the dark divinity Odin among them, and the Guardians, who seek to emulate the glory of ancient Alec, have simply availed themselves of it. Pray permit me to continue the tale. I have no idea who is talking. Ah. Ah, Urianger, how kind of you to join us. As the Warrior of Light's comrade, my participation is but to be expected. After all, the matter doth pertain to the very fate of this star. The Icons of Eld in the distant past, these mighty beings that offer fierce resistance to the Allagan Empire. However, they eventually fell to the men of Alak, who devised the means by which to capture them. And it did not end with capture, as you well know, for the Allagans also learned how to harness the Icon's power. They refined this knowledge at the Etherochemical Research Facility on Aziz La, and within the centrifugal crystal engine they sealed 3 of the beings, the Warring Triad. It was first and foremost to acquire the infinite power of the Warring Triad that the Archbishop did seek Aziz La, but in the wake of his defeat the bindings which confined the Icons were severely damaged. Doubt not that they will fail completely ere long. Know that we do not condemn you for striking down the Archbishop. You are simply fulfilling your destiny. And yet, were the Warring Triad to be released into the world, unimaginable destruction would ensue. Take heart, for there is still hope. Through swift action, we may yet prevent their awakening and see them resealed. I hope that Urianger, whatever. But in dealing with this new threat, our first step must be to contend with the old. 2 savage gods are returned, I fear, summoned once more by their worshippers, and are destroying far surpassing their previous incarnations. I speak of the primals Ravana and Bismarck. If left unchecked, they will inevitably seek to seize the power of the Warring Triad. This will serve to feed the confluence of chaos and hasten the Icon's awakening. To which we must needs vanquish both their kinds. I pray thee, however, to first focus thy gaze upon the primals, ere we turn our attention to those Icons and their fitful slumber. I shall return to the waking sands forthwith and consider such measures as are available to us. Meanwhile, I bid thee attend to the task of eliminating the primals. Young Unukalai shall assist thee. Rest assured he is not our enemy, for the time being at least. For the time being, you say? If we are to prevent the awakening of the Warring Triad, then Bismarck must be cast down once more. I am aware of the rather unorthodox method you employed to lure out and slay the White Whale before, and had a mind to follow established precedent. Established precedent, yes. That said, islands are not easy to come by. I should hope it is not necessary, but you may as well show this gemstone to Chief Sonu. He will know it as the weeping eye of the Manukmanai, and it will ensure that he is completely committed to our cause. Oh, and before you ask, I have already informed Master Garland of our plans. He is currently en route to the Blue Window. As you prepare yourself for battle, so too does Ravana. Within Thok, he builds his strength, feeding upon the prayers of his innumerable children. But those same children will not suffer you to live, should you surrender yourself to them a second time. Nay, you must devise a new way of approaching the Lord of the Hive's domain. Consult with the storyteller, the Elder of the Vath, and he will aid in this endeavor. Take this bauble. 'Tis known among the Nath as the Burning Eye of Ravana. When the time comes, you will know what to do. Okay, so I had the idea earlier to do these extremes, or like to do all of the extremes basically, just in one go, one after another, and add it all into one episode, but it seems like the game actually wants you to defeat the extremes of the earlier fights before unlocking the newer fights. So, it would seem, my friends, that we are gonna be doing some extremes this episode. Or well, I hope. Depending on if I can find people to do extremes. Since it is kind of early in the day. For, you know, gamers. Our hunter friend, welcome. You come hunting gods once more? The non-mind is glad of your thirst for divine blood. Even more rapacious do the one-mind grow as they seek offerings to glut our deity's insatiable appetite. Another path to our god's domain. Yes, there is but one way. You must seek out the Jinnah Hive on the far side of the colony and attune your spear to the aetheryte ensconced within. But the deed is not possible. We hear that the crystal is warded by ancient ritual magics. The One Mind has woven the seal such that only the most worthy of warriors shall be granted leave to enter Thok, and they do not share with the non-mind what they consider worthy. But I have this thing, the Eye of Ravana, which will probably make me worthy. Just like a Realm Reborn. I was really trying to remember how you unlock the extremes in this thing. After a pause, you smash the gemstone against the aetheryte. Nothing much happens. Out of habit, you attune with the aetheryte, and once more, nothing much happens. What? Well, it worked. That music does have a vibe. I like it. The Tramontane returns, and with it the whale. So too comes the great Netherling warrior. The round gemstone, heavily aspected to both water and wind, is believed by the Zundu tribe to be one of the eyes of the Manukmana, a great beast of Vanu legend. Like double rainbows in the mist, Sonu knows not what to make of this, an eye in the hands of a Netherling. Storm clouds of the Vanu are no match for the eye's might. Smash it against the aetheryte in the whale's crown, and he will be vulnerable once more. Bind him with chains of steel and drive him from Cloud Sea. Return zephyr winds and sunlight to our lands. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. I really thought I was going to go to the aetheryte around here. I think it's over here. Hall of the Fallen Plume. There's like an aetheryte around here. But no. Seems I must needs go somewhere else. I am still in Shiva. Should probably go back to my own world. Hello. There you are, Lynn. The Enterprise Excelsior is ready to depart whenever you are. Say again, Chief Senna wants you to smash some gemstone against an aetheryte to dispel a barrier of storm clouds. I don't even know where to begin. Ah, no hells with it. Maybe it'll bring us good luck. I'll run a few with you there. Okay, no, I do need to go there then. God dang it. Okay, it was not over here, it's all the way over here. Ba-da-ba-bum. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum-ba-bum-bum. Ba-da-bum. Bum bum ba doo da bum 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 ba doo da bum. Gaming, my friends. This is the ultimate gaming content. Where I'm just humming along to the song while flying around in the sea of clouds. I mean, isn't that the usual experience? Alright. Tuning. There we go. We have unlocked the Limitless Blue Extreme. Alright, my friends, I will be right back for you guys, and who knows how long for me. Anyway, BRB. Alright, have no fear, because I actually found a party in not such a long time, I would say. Didn't take, like, I thought it was gonna take the entire day, honestly. But, yeah, no. It didn't take it that long. Alright, so we have already seen the intro cutscenes of these, so I will just straight up skip them. Alright, so the thing we will be doing is, we will be doing Ravana, Bismarck, and Thornton Extreme. Is the idea that I have. Ba-da-ba-da, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba-ba-dum-da-da. Such a good song. Great. Ba-da-ba-dum. Da-da-ba-ba-dum. I kind of forgot to do a ready check. Should have probably done that. Oh well. Okay, so the thing that he does is seeing wings. So similar to like the normal fight, he will create shields around him. This time on 3 sides. So only one side will be damageable. Then he's going to prepare a move. It's been a while since I did this myself, but I do remember most of it. Then he's going to prepare a move, Prelude to Liberation, which will require you to back off because he's going to attack with a big ol' AoE around him. And will give you a vulnerability stack if you get hit by it. Then he's gonna do these line attacks over here, together with some AoEs on random people. Try not to overlap them too much. But you have more than enough time to do it. Honestly, Ravana and Bismarck Extreme really aren't too bad. It is Thornton Extreme, which can be kind of more on the challenging side. Now Liberation is next, so... Liberation, if you want to avoid this attack, you need to stand behind him, because basically any other side of the arena is going to get hit by a big ol' AoE. I think you can avoid it in other spots too, but the back is usually the best spot to be in, I've noticed. Then he's going to drop down, and you go to the side where the other character has not dropped down, and then you follow along, similar to how you would avoid the dashes in ffXIV, if you have done that before. As you can see, not a lot of people. I'm doing this with people who aren't very experienced in the fight, so we will see some hiccups here and there, but that is fine, honestly. These fights are not easy. Like, they are on the easier side, that which I will... Like, I'm not gonna say this is super hard, but it's also not super easy. So... In this part over here, it is the idea that you would need to break his shield, basically, because if you don't, he's gonna do this. You need to DPS him enough to be able to break his shield, and then you can... let me go and, like, use a cooldown goes. The idea is that you do enough damage at that point that you break that shield so he cannot use that attack. Anyway, he's gonna continuously do is like seeing left, seeing right, or any other move of that kind. So just keep track of that. The only people that are affected by that move are physical ranged and melees. So if you're a caster, then you do not have to worry about that attack. Like about the shields, you can just keep attacking him wherever the hell you want. Casting privileges, I suppose. When it comes to this attack over here, Trippy something, or Trap something, you can avoid, like you get hit by the first one and you can avoid the other ones by going past him. Similarly to the original fight, another thing that happens are these butterflies appearing. If they are alive and they finish casting laughing, like something laughter, then you will unfortunately have to deal with Bloody Fuller becoming stronger and giving you Vault stacks. But my party has done a pretty good job at taking care of them, so now we just take the normal damage of Bloody Fuller, and no more extra vulnerability stacks. Okay, next up, you need to aim yourself to a wall, because he is about to knock you back. So make sure your back is to a wall, otherwise you will be yaya-yeeted. Or if you have a shield or anything to negate your, like to prevent a knockback, then you can also use that. That thing that just happened, which I couldn't really properly show off, is a stat marker. And then this over here, let me just go ahead. Hello, let me take that from you. So this is something that normally the off-tank grabs, but I can grab it too. This fight really, like the damage is not as great as it used to be, because of so many expansions being released and everything kind of getting powered up. And then we deal with an attack, which I don't think I've ever actually properly had to deal with, because Ravana usually dies before you can use it. Swift Liberation is going to mark 4 people, and he's going to dash towards them. How, in which order, and how it works, I have no idea, because I've never had to deal with it. Okay, actually it goes to the person and then it goes to the next one. Okay, it's actually a lot more simple than I envisioned it being. What are we doing? Anyway, let's finish him off. Nice. GG. Alright, that is just about the fight, really. There's not much else to it. The things that drop from these fights are, similarly to A Realm Reborn, are weapons and also, if you are lucky, a mount. So... the weapons themselves aren't like shiny as you can buy them on the market board. They don't have the special effects, but they still look pretty dang good, I would say. Right. I will be right back again. Alright. Time for Bismarck. Alright. Took a little bit longer since we lost one of the people who was with us earlier. Let's... You know, we really do have quite a diverse party. A cat girl, a Rothgar, a bunny girl, a cat boy, 2 Hewers, and an Ellison. That is an amazing that is an amazing adventure plot. Him just lying there. Anyway, the way this fight works is actually very similar to how it worked before. The idea, in the beginning in any case, is that there's just a couple of ads, avoid the AoEs, nothing too major honestly. There we go. Then you can use the Magitech Field Generator to protect the island a little bit from the Cetacean Rage, and also stop you from getting knocked down. Right, and then very similar to the original fight. Shoot at the Dragon Killers. And then Bismarck will be pulled towards the island. Once again, you need to be on top of Bismarck to actually damage him. So, keep that in mind. Somebody just jumped off. Or fell off. Oh well. Of course, just like in the original fight, you can fall off the island. So, the more stacks of turbulence you have, the more damage you'll also be taking of this stuff. Or just the more like damage over time you'll be taking. Alright, now the new thing is, at this part, you're going to get these 2 ads to spawn, and at some point you will get yourself a buff, or debuff in this part. Is this the one where I get the damage? Yes, I get reflected. Well, I don't know if the other one is aware. I don't think that they are. In any case, I won't be able to attack this. Normally you're supposed to attack the one on the opposite side. If you have the 2 tanks, if you have the opposite element, then just go and like provoke between each other, and you should be able to take care of. We should be able to take care of it, but that didn't happen over here. That is fine too. Just don't use skills. Either that or have people who can heal you pretty well. Tornadoes will fling you up in the air. Random AoEs like these will spawn. And that is, for the most part, it really. A lot of the mechanics can also just kind of be ignored once again because of the power creep. Because this is relatively old content. It means that you can just cheese a lot of these things. Or just straight up ignore a lot of the mechanics. But more ads. We're gonna pull them towards the ranged dude. If you get hit by these AoEs, you will be knocked off of the island, so try to avoid them. Similarly to Titan. Right. Then we have Baleen Bomb and the Vapor Bottles. I don't remember, I think this is the one where we destroy the bubbles because their lightning isn't here. I think now we have the water instead. Yeah. Sharp Gust. It's going to hit you from the middle of the arena and push you away. So keep that in mind. Someone in chat, crap! Yeah, I do feel like that. And then stay in the middle too to be safe from that thing. And then you can shoot the Dragon Killers again and drag Bismarck to the island once again. Now, depending on what your DPS is looking like, you can one-cycle him. Otherwise, you need to make sure to get off of him before he starts knocking people off, because instead of knocking you onto the island, this time it's gonna knock you off of the island. So... with good enough DPS, you can definitely destroy him in one cycle. But I am not gonna trust that. And there go a lot of people. Who probably think that it works like the normal fight. Which is understandable, really. And I think now we have to deal with the lightning instead of the other, instead of the wind. Music is such a jam, I love it. Kills already? Okay. Once again, this is another fight that I don't really know the mechanics of that well, because he usually doesn't live long enough to really showcase a lot of the mechanics of this fight, similarly to Ravana, unfortunately also. But this fight is widely known as one of the worst ones in a Realm, not in a Realm or in Heavensward. I think it is definitely the worst one, though. It's like the least interesting one. Considering a couple of things. Right. Ba, 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 ba. Alright. And I will be right back again. Alright, time for a fight that is actually quite, or can be quite challenging. Depending on a lot of things. I will do my best to explain the mechanics of this fight, but there are a lot of them. There's a couple of them in specific that kind of shine out, I would say. All right. Right. This time I'm actually doing a countdown. Because I totally forgot to do it last time. Last two times, to be precise. But, well, yeah, Bismarck doesn't really need a proper cooldown. Or proper countdown. Right. Let me go and do this, since he's gonna hit me with that. There we go. Meteor Rain. Just AoEs, avoid them, not too difficult. Then he's going to do Ascalon's Mercy. You can stand in between the AoEs, or you can just straight up avoid them. If you get hit, you will be knocked back. If you hit the wall, you will take a buttload of damage. And then Dragon Smite, I think it's what it's called, which gives him, I think it's a damage tank? Yeah, it just becomes more powerful. Dragon Gaze, if you look at it, you will become confused and run in random directions. Once again, if you touch the wall, you will most likely die. It does quadruple 9 damage, I think. Or maybe one-shots you? I don't know. I think it does quadruple 9 damage in this fight. Lightning Storm, just stay spread, do not stack with each other. There we go. That is the first part, so then we all stack up in the middle. Or most of us in any case. The mechanics are... Not everybody knows the mechanics of this fight in this group, so... It's a good idea to stand in the middle. Wait for this to appear, then run, break your chain, stand in the towers, take them, otherwise we will get paralyzed. They don't do that much damage, so anybody can stand in them in this one. And then we all go and beat up this freaking knight over here. The more health he has when his cast is finished, the more damage Sacred Cross will do. I am DCing. Are you fucking serious? I swear to God. I do not need this now. Then, there is this mechanic over here. I hope that I am in the correct spot. This is kind of a tight fit over here. You need to look at the 3 knights and avoid it. If you get hit, you will get knocked back and you will die. But with this part, there are 2 knights. Each tank grabs one of them and pulls them away from each other. If they are close to each other, they will get buffed. They will also do Divine Right, where they will get either a defensive or an offensive buff. Mine has an offensive one, so he's going to be the one that the DPS should focus on, but is also going to do more damage with this attack, with Holy Blade Dance. So would definitely suggest using cooldown, even if you're fighting the defensive one. Just in general, use a cooldown for Holy Blade Dance, because it hits like a freaking truck. The longer that this phase goes on, so the longer that it takes for you to beat some of these things, like especially these two, the more people that die, the more that their Limber Break gauge is going to get filled, which will increase the attack power of the final attack in this phase. Alright, and then some people will get tethered, others will have these puddles appear underneath them and will then get hit with ice. Just kind of spread them around, get out of the AoE, then get close to this guy, because he's going to do an AoE attack, or like a knockback attack, and knock you into the wall if you aren't fast enough. And then the meteor phase. These markers are going to signify just a little meteors following, or comets following you constantly. You will just have to take damage, just try not to overlap them. And in the meantime, of course, defeat the comet circles and the meteor circle in the middle. Because they will do damage. I think the meteor circle will just straight up one-shot you, but the other ones will just do a buttload of damage, and I think also give you damage down to basically stop you from beating this phase. And there we go! That's the entire ad phase in the first go. That's good. Good stuff. Right, the same as with the original fight, you get, in this part, a couple of times you will get hit by this, the Light of Ascalon, which will just knock you back. So either go towards Thornton and just stay there, or just constantly like run against it. Alright, so then we're all gonna gather up. I'm gonna give people this. Attack will do a sizable amount of damage. Then we're gonna go into the final phase, which can be quite a tough little encounter, not going to lie. I just noticed that we didn't set up the markers, which we kind of should have. So this part over here, there will be me, the main tank, is going to get hit with a big tank buster. And there's also another thing going to be happening, where people need to basically block a bolt of lightning, which your boy will throw. So the thing that needs to happen is that the off-tank needs to stand in front and take the first hit. If anybody dies during that thing, then everybody dies. You get one shot. The fight is over. If that happens, so. That is honestly one of the scariest mechanics in this fight, in my opinion. Because it definitely, it can just straight up kill you. Like, killing the entire party. Like, any mechanic that can just wipe the entire party is a danger to me. Another little mechanic for the main tank will be to follow this eye over here. When he does the looking away mechanic, you need to both look away from Thornton and from the eye. As a result, as long as Thornton is where the eye is, then everybody else can just avoid the gaze by by not looking at Thornton himself. In the meantime, there's a lot of other stuff happening in the background, but, that's neither here nor there. This guy with his axe will eventually knock you back too. Oh fuck. Ay, 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 ay. There's also a stack marker. I'm gonna use Hallowed Ground because I thought that my thing worked, but it doesn't. So knockback prevention does not work for that. I don't usually main tank this fight, by the way. This would be the not the first time, but definitely one of the first times in a long while since I've main tanked this fight. But Knights of the Round. Basically, whenever they cast Knights of the Round, there will be a new mechanic happening. Or a new combination mechanic. Look at the guy that like the knight out on the arena, because he is going to dash through the arena and kill anyone inside. Like that. I think we're gonna need an LB3. Thank you, Howie. Heavenly Heal, once again, Tankbuster, so we're just gonna do this too. Since Aoi is currently busy with reviving people. Alright, the eye has moved yet again because of Dragon's Eye. So I will now move this way. And there we go! Nicely done! Wow! That is amazing! I mean, it wasn't perfect, mind you, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. I really don't care too much about that. That was still amazingly done, honestly. And I got a weapon. Yes. Alright, so I will be right back again. Okay, so after that entire shenanigans, I want to talk about a couple of things that I've got. So, whenever you do an extreme from this point onwards in Heavensward, you will get a totem from them. A totem or a fragment or something. Which you can then in Idleshire trade with the person, like where you buy the gear with the elegant tomestones. There's a person over to the right where you can exchange these totems for weapons, basically. So if you are not lucky with getting the weapon that you want, then you can, like after, I think with 15 tokens or something, you can get, you can then buy the weapon with these totems, so. And the weapons themselves, well, you can see them on the market board too. There's other versions on the market board with more advanced effects on them. These have slight effects on them, but nothing too major. But well, yeah. These weapons are now also available for us. Another thing is, if you have 99 of these tokens, if you have gotten absolutely ridiculously RNG screwed, you can trade in 99 of these tokens to buy the mount, if you didn't get the mount. Like when it's about when we're talking about like the mounts and all that jazz, I will be doing that once again, like somewhere around the end of the expansion. I think at the end of the patches, maybe. Actually, yeah, most likely at the end of the patches. I'll then just go and off camera, unsync, grind them. Because like the thing is, I actually usually grind my mounts. Like I grind my mounts on the main character with doing them synced, because it's much more fun doing it that way, in my humble opinion. Because that way you can actually get to enjoy the fights, and getting a mount just means a lot more that way. But for the sake of this playthrough, and for the sake of wanting to show off the little quests that are involved with getting all of them, I will just unsync and grind those. Which is what people usually do, but me and my static, we really enjoy doing the extreme content. So we tend to just grind them by doing it synced, because it's just more fun that way. But I don't want to do it again. So I'll be grinding them unsynced at a later point, same as I did with A Realm Reborn. Alright, so now we have done that, let us go back over to the people that gave us our little quests to begin with. I know that I technically didn't do it with, you know, a different job each time, but when it comes to extreme content, I would rather do it with something that I feel comfortable with. I mean, I can probably do every single piece of extreme content, I think. Wait, I clicked to change. My internet has been doing some stuff the last, like, 20 minutes or something. So let's hope that my internet's not gonna fuck me over too much. Well, anyway, I could probably do like this content, I call this content with whatever job, but I would rather do it with a job that I'm comfortable with, since I'm also trying to explain at least some of the mechanics that you can see. Just a base idea of like how much to keep track of. Right. Once more you have slain our ravening god. Your tribe must think you a great hunter indeed. Even the one mind must begin to appreciate the folly of their wasteful summonings. But tell us, Great Hunter, how were you able to pass the seal? Did it simply melt away at the approach of your indomitable presence? A gemstone of fire and earth. There's something. A memory we have from the Overmind before we were cast out. A memory of the burning eye of Ravana. The Overmind has recollections of a legend 100 generations old. We remember the tale of our god, as he once was, an all-devouring beast whose eye was torn from him by an invading tribe. The Nath have sought to recover this lost relic for centuries, that it might be rejoined with Ravana reborn. But even were it found, it is said that only the most worthy of warriors can bear its searing touch. And I understand why the seal granted you passage. But tell us, Great Hunter, how came you by the eye? A youngling named Unukalhai, your deed, has returned many memories to the surface of our minds, but that name is not among them. To gift you with such a prize, he too must have thought you worthy. We thank you, Great Hunter. Too soon do our memories from the Overmind fade, but you have given us a new story to tell. Right, let's also go to the Oxenlu, or to the Vanu. The Vanu. As storm clouds give way to sunlight, so hope returns to Zundu, and clarity of visions to Sonu. Sonu sees Netherling for who she truly is. Netherling is bearer foretold. Once long ago, in the midst of a great battle with a tribe from the Nethers, a horrid wicked demon comes to feast on the bodies of the fallen. Manuk Manai, we name him. Manuk Manai, we decry him. For generations he hunts the Vanu, but this day we say no more. Greatest of our heroes climbs atop the beast's back, and with blades black as midnight, she rips his eyes from his head and casts them into Cloud Sea. In hour of great need, eyes return to the Vanu, look to their bearer for salvation. So she declares, and so it comes to pass. And now Netherling's deeds we remember forever. Right. And I'm back to Merduna. Merduna! I love it. It's always so nerve-wracking to do extreme content. Well, especially when I'm like recording, because then I'm like, okay, I gotta try to explain this as best as I can. There's so much happening in this fight, it's ridiculous sometimes. You didn't say a word. The etheric readings have no doubt. The Lord of the Mist is no more. For the time being, at least. After all, such beings have a rather troublesome tendency to return. Let us turn our attention to the Lord of the Hive, who in quiet meditation awaits your coming. I mean, he's already dead. And thus is the Lord of the Hive's essence returned unto the land. And thus has the essence of Ravana joined that of the Lord of the Mists in its return to the land. You have my gratitude, Warrior of Light. Without your valiant efforts, these primal terrors would have invited devastation on a cataclysmic scale. For unlike others of their ilk, Bismarck and Ravana both harbor the desire and the power to reach Az's Law. It is with dreadful certainty that I sense their intent to feed on the strength of the Warring Triad, and thereby amplify their own power by an order of magnitude. By what wisdom do I claim such certainty? I am gifted with, how shall I put this, an intimate knowledge of the primal mind. You are curious, I am sure, but you need not understand the nature of a power to use it, do you? It is much the same with the Echo, I imagine. Ah, the realm of Eorzea. Ever has it been a land embraced by gods, for weal or for woe, I should wonder. For the time being, I shall remain here in the Rising Stones and assist Urianger with his research into the icons. If you should require aught further of me, simply ask. Okay, I was actually thinking about this. So, I just remembered that... Well, first of all, we get this of you. Find a false gods. Also, if you defeat Thorn, then you also get Mistbreaker. So to actually do this, like to actually start fighting the next 3 trial creatures, I suppose, or trials in general, you would need to have started the patches, which I literally just remembered. So apparently my plan was to do them first, but that's not happening apparently, because I need to start the patches. So it'll take a little while before we get there then. Then I guess next up we're gonna focus on doing the alliance raids instead, which are some pretty good ones too. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode of Just Chat where I was playing Final Fantasy XIV. And next episode we're gonna go and work towards unlocking our first Heavensward alliance raid. Goodbye.